Hello there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 15th, 2015. And I think you're gonna have a great week this week. It's very positive reading. So let's start with the Nine of Hearts. This card is a great card to have. It represents things that you have been wishing for to happen, happening finally, probably for most of you. Like I said, I think since I started doing readings here on YouTube, I think it started in April or something like that, May, whatever. Uh, back then you were planting your seeds. I think you've been planting your seeds for a long time and planting more seeds for ideas, businesses, jobs, whatever. And this is you getting the things that you wished for, whatever it may be: love, money, better spirituality, whatever. All those things are coming in. The Nine of Hearts doesn't just represent love; it represents pretty much all areas of your life. And so all you have to do this week is just pretty much wish for it, meditate on whatever it is that you want, and you'll get it. Now, of course, I'm of the belief that you can't just think things necessarily into existence. The law of attraction is great if you actually take steps. You actually have to do things. It won't just appear magically, but just know that you can attract the ideas and whatever it may be. You can attract the job and the right job and all those other things just by thinking about it and taking action. So this is you getting your wishes. Like I said, I think this is also things that you've already wished for coming in, so you've probably already taken the action to get these things that you want. Next, you have the Ace of Diamonds, pretty much the best money card in the deck, the best money card you could possibly get. It's you feeling very financially stable, but it's also just money coming in, more money coming into you, being more successful. This card also represents change, so, obviously it's a change in your money situation. And the other thing about this card is it's always positive. So it's always, positive change, positive money coming in, more money, things like that. So I think financially you're going to be feeling very stable with things coming in and all of that. Next, you have the Nine of Clubs, which is kind of the same as the Nine of Hearts. It represents pretty much the same things. The thing about this is that the Nine of Clubs is something that you worked for. The clubs represent the brain. So, pretty much all the clubs cards to me represent the brain and, having to use your brain to do something. So that's what this card means. It represents success. It represents something you work for. Like I said, it's like an achievement. Like you achieve something, like a business promotion, a job promotion, more things coming into your business, a new contract in your business, all those things. And this typically does have to do with money. It doesn't really have to do with anything else, just money. That's all. So financially, I think you're doing very well this week, or you will do very well. This is also, again, kind of like a surprise. It's like all of a sudden you get a contract in your business for something huge, or all of a sudden you get a huge order, all of a sudden you get a raise, or all of a sudden you get a bonus. It's like something that just pops out of nowhere. And like this being kind of like a gift from the universe, this card represents kind of like a gift because it's like things that you've been wishing for just popping in. I think that anything positive that happens to you, I think you're going to have multiple things positive happening to you. I think the whole week's going to be positive, plain and simple. The things will pretty much just pop in, just boom, all of a sudden appear, type of deal. And probably you probably weren't expecting it, and I think a lot of that has to do with your mindset and where you've been for the past 8 years or so, and having to deal with challenges and things like that. You're just not used to the positivity and things like that, to say the least. To wrap it all up, you have the Ten of Spades, which normally this card, it has to do with I kind of look at this as like the Ten of Cards and the Ten of Cards, the Ten of Swords in the tarot. It's a guy on his back or on his stomach, laying down on the ground with a bunch of swords stuck in his back. And it's actually a positive card because it represents change. It represents death as well, this card, and the death of things in your life. But it's not a negative death. It's like they're positive changes that have been happening in your life. I think probably over the past I'd say 6 months is what I'm getting. You've probably seen one thing after another go down and die. Maybe you started a project and then it got taken away from you, or maybe you started a job and you lost it. And it's like, but you've had like a bunch of different things that have just been like fallen down like dominoes almost. But I think this is like your final thing. But I think this one's actually positive, and I think this card is just really telling me and telling you that those cycles are kind of like over. You're not having to deal with like one thing after another, losing, one thing after another over and over again. I think finally you'll start to see some stability. This card represents stability. It's very stable. And the retrograde is over also this week. This is our first full week of no retrograde. So, I think what you're going to be looking back on is, like I said at the beginning of the retrograde, I think that retrograde was brought in a lot of stability. Maybe during it wasn't stable, but I think now after the retrograde, you're going to be looking back and you're going to realize how all the things that you thought back on and had to deal with during the retrograde actually are going to make your life a lot more stable. So it's going to be an excellent week for you. I think you're going to have a great week.